Hello children, how are you? Now again with our new topic of chapter System of Particles and Rotational Motion. In our last module we have seen equilibrium of rigid bodies. We saw two conditions there. Now today we are going to learn another topic, that is principle of moments. Principle of moments that we are going to see. Principle of moments. What is that? So let us see here. According to the principle of moments, I can say a body will be in a rotational equilibrium. A body will be in a rotational equilibrium. Rotational equilibrium. Rotational equilibrium. If algebraic sum of the moments, if algebraic sum of the moments, algebraic sum of the moments of all the forces acting on the body, of all the forces on the body about a fixed point, is zero. About a fixed point is zero. This is called principle of moments. We can see, dear children, here we take anti-clockwise moments as a positive and a clockwise moment as a negative. I mean to say that in a rotational equilibrium of a body, sum of the anti-clockwise moment is equal to the sum of the clockwise moment. Sum of the anti-clockwise moment is equal to the sum of the clockwise moment about the fixed point. We can see here example of seesaw or a beam balance we can take. So I want to illustrate this principle of moments here. So to illustrate the principle, we are taking here an ideal lever. Here it is a lever we are taking. Here say it is a point A and here it is a point B. Suppose at this point A, say the force is F1 and at the point B, say force is F2. Okay, so we are taking here a light rod AB of negligible mass pivoted at the point O. Say this is the point O. This is our pivoted point. This point is called fulcrum. Here it is a point O of the lever A seesaw on a children playground. The beam of a physical balance are the common examples we can see in our daily life. So we are taking here a lever where two forces F1 and F2 parallel to each other and perpendicular to this lever rod are applied at the ends A and B. You can see here is the end A and here is the end B. Okay? Yes, sir. Now here it is moving in this manner. Say it is the anti-clockwise moment and here you can see the clockwise movement here. Here it is the clockwise movement. Here it may be taken as a positive and it may be taken as a negative. This arm AO is called load arm. And here the distance from O to A is say D1. And here the distance is D2 and this is called effect arm. This is called effect arm. Okay, so draw this figure. Now dear children, R with the reaction here. Here it is say R. This is the reaction of the support at the fulcrum. R is directed opposite to that of forces F1 and F2 we can see here. That is this. So the lever is a system in a mechanical equilibrium. So we have seen in earlier article for in translational equilibrium, the net force is equal to 0. In upper side R and lower side F1 and F2, that is equal to 0. So I can write here R is equal to F1 plus F2 here. This is for translational equilibrium. For rotational equilibrium, the algebraic sum of the moments about O must be 0. If AO is equal to D1, so I can write F1 into D1. Anti-clockwise, we are taking positive. And OB is equal to D2, that is clockwise direction, minus sign F2 into D2 is equal to 0. Here we can say R acts at the fulcrum itself and has therefore 0 moment about the fulcrum. So I can write F1 into D1 is equal to F2 into D2. Here, this is the condition. So in this case for a lever, force F1 is usually some weight to be lifted. It is called load. This is called load. Or we can say this is called load arm. Again the force F2 is called effort applied aid. Effort applied aid. Here. To the lift the load and the distance from the O to B is D2. This is called effect arm. So I can write, my dear children, load arm into load, here it is the load and load arm. I can write this load into load arm here. Load into load arm is equal to effort into effort arm. This is here like this. So write this formula. Load into load arm is equal to effort into effort arm. Is it clear? And the ratio of this F1 and F2 is called mechanical advantage of the lever. That is, mechanical advantage of the lever is equal to load lifted divided by effort lifted. Mechanical advantage, that is F1 by F2. F1 by F2 when you write, then you can say this is D2 by D1 here. Okay, so mechanical advantage AMA is greater than 1. Mechanical advantage is greater than 1 here. When the F1 is greater than F2, अगर F1 का मान F2 से ज़्यादा है, so we can write this, or I can say F2 is less than F1. So small effort is applied to lift a heavy load. Is that clear? So this is called principle of moments. Write down. Now, one small term we are going to discuss, that is center of gravity. Center of gravity. This center of gravity we can write CG. What is that? Suppose this is in any rigid body. At the center, say weight of the body, here is mg. Then opposite to that of direction, here is the normal reaction R. So this point here G is called center of gravity. So center of gravity of a body is a point. Center of a gravity of a body is a point. Is a point. Center of gravity of a body is a point where the weight of the body, weight that is mg. Weight means mg. Weight of the body, that is mg. X, and total gravitational torque on the body is 0. And the gravitational torque and the total gravitational torque, on the body is 0. Is it clear? So this is a 1 mark question. Remember only this. So I can say the center of gravity of a body coincides with the center of mass of the body. Center of gravity of the body coincides with the center of mass of the body. Okay? Yes, sir. Write down. However, if the body is so extended that the value of acceleration due to gravity G varies from part to part of the body, then I can say the center of gravity shall not coincide with the center of mass of the body if the value of small g, that is acceleration due to gravity, changes. So that will not coincide. Okay? Now, we will take another part of this chapter, that is equations of rotational motion. In a linear motion, we derive 3 equations of motion, that is V is equal to U plus AT, S is equal to UT plus 1 by 2 AT square, and V square is equal to U square plus 2AS, that is for straight line motion. Now here in this chapter we are talking about rotational motion. So we are going to learn equations of rotational motion. Equations of rotational motion. Equations of rotational motion. Here, for first equation, I can say where the, suppose a rigid body, here it is a rigid body, say is rotating. Suppose this rigid body, here is a rigid body rotating about a given axis, say this is the axis, with a uniform angular acceleration is alpha. This body is rotate about a given axis with an angular acceleration alpha. Okay? Yes. So I know the definition of angular acceleration, rate of change of angular velocity. D alpha is equal to d omega by dt. So I can write d of omega is equal to alpha dt. Suppose initially at the time t is equal to 0, the angular velocity is omega naught, and at the time t the angular velocity is omega. Integrate this equation both the sides. Integration of dw is equal to integration of alpha dt. Integrate this equation, both the sides is the proper limit. The lower limit here is omega naught when the time is 0. Final angular velocity omega when the time is t. Again we have to use a formula, integral of 1 dx is equal to x. So here I can write omega with a lower limit and upper limit. Alpha may be taken out, it is constant, and integration of 1 dt, that is t. So this is the formula here. Put this. Then now open the limits. Then now open the limits. What we are getting? Upper limit omega minus sign lower limit is equal to alpha. Upper limit t, lower limit 0. So omega is equal to omega naught plus alpha t. This is our first equation. This is our first equation of rotational motion. Okay. Now for the second equation of motion, if omega is the angular velocity, for the second equation of motion, omega is the angular velocity of the body at any time t. So I know the formula of angular velocity, rate of change of angular displacement. Omega is equal to d theta by dt. So I can write d theta is equal to omega dt. Integrate this equation both the sides. At the time t is equal to 0, the angular displacement is 0. And at the time t, the angular displacement is theta. Integration of d theta is equal to integration of omega dt. Here the lower limit and upper limit. Lower limit and upper limit. Now, from our first equation of motion, अभी हमने निकाला omega is equal to omega naught alpha t. Put it here. Integration of 1 d theta theta with the limit 0 to theta. Integration 0 to t. Put omega की जगह ये रखिए. Omega naught plus alpha t dt. Then here open the limit only theta. In this side from 0 to t, omega naught dt plus integration 0 to t alpha t dt here. So I can write theta is equal to omega naught. बाहर ले लीजिए आप, कांस्टेंट है. इंटीग्रेशन ऑफ 1 dt t. ओमेगा नॉट बाहर ले लिया, इसका इंटीग्रेशन ये कर दिया, प्लस अल्फा में भी टेकन आउट. Integration of t dt. Our formula is x and dx is equal to x to the power n plus 1 divided by n plus 1. So here I can write t की power 1 plus 1 divided by 1 plus 1. So I can write here t square by 2 with the limit 0 से t here. Now open the limit. I can write omega naught t here only plus alpha by 2 t square by 2 only here. So this is our equation. This is equation. Theta is equal to omega naught t plus alpha by 2 t square. Is it clear? This is our equation number 2. Now, Third equation of motion. I know very well the angular velocity is equal to rate of change of displacement d theta by dt. So omega is equal to d theta by dt and alpha is equal to rate of change of angular velocity d omega by dt. So here my dear children, this equation divided by d theta and multiplied by d theta. हमने क्या किया, इस इक्वेशन को d थीटा से मल्टीप्लाइड किया और d थीटा से डिवाइड किया. d थीटा बाई dt ओमेगा, ओमेगा t ओमेगा बाई dt हो गया ये. इसकी जगह ये लिख दिया मैंने, क्रॉस मल्टीप्लाई ओमेगा डी ओमेगा इज इक्वल टू अल्फा dt. ये आ गया ओमेगा डी ओमेगा इज इक्वल टू अल्फा dt. Now, when theta is equal to 0, the initial angular velocity is omega naught. And when theta is equal to theta, the final angular velocity is omega. Now integrate this equation both the side. Omega d omega with a limit initially omega naught, final is omega. Integration 0 to t alpha dt here. Integrating with a proper limit. What is this? Why integration of x to the power n dx. X to the power n plus 1 divided by n plus 1. So I can write here omega square by 2 with the limit omega naught omega is equal to alpha may be taken out. And integration is t only with the limit 0 to t. Now open the limit. Put here 1 by 2 will be taken out. Omega square minus omega naught square is equal to alpha t. I can write here children here alpha, sorry here you can see alpha is equal to here omega d omega is equal to alpha d theta. Sorry here alpha d theta, because we have seen this alpha is equal to d omega by dt multiplied and divided by d theta. और d थीटा बाई डी थीटा की जगह हमने लिखा है ओमेगा, ओमेगा डी ओमेगा बाई डी थीटा. तो डी थीटा आएगा बेटा अल्फा डी थीटा है. हियर इट इज थीटा, सॉरी दिस, हियर इट इज थीटा. हियर ओके, राइट डाउन. So here I can say this is theta. So omega square is equal to omega naught square plus 2 alpha theta. This is the result. Slide change कर दीजिएगा, ये हमने गलती से t लिख दिया था. So this is the third equation of motion here. That is omega square is equal to omega naught square plus 2 alpha theta. Okay? Yes sir. Now I am going to take a very small numerical. What is that? Based on center of mass. We are doing a numerical based on center of mass. Two bodies of mass 1 kg and 2 kg are located at a point 1 and 2 and -1 and 3. Calculate the coordinates of center of mass. दो बॉडी 1 किलोग्राम की और 2 किलोग्राम की यहां पर और यहां पर पड़ी हुई है. ये कोऑर्डिनेट है x डायरेक्शन के, ये कोऑर्डिनेट है y डायरेक्शन के, ये कोऑर्डिनेट है नेगेटिव x डायरेक्शन के और ये y डायरेक्शन के. कोऑर्डिनेट ऑफ सेंटर ऑफ मास फॉर्मूला होता है बच्चों, द कोऑर्डिनेट्स ऑफ सेंटर ऑफ मास इज m1 x1 plus m2 x2 डिवाइडेड बाई m1 प्लस m2। ये फॉर्मूला याद रखिएगा, हम पढ़ चुके हैं पहले। पुट इट हियर, m1 ये और m2 ये। Here m1 x1, m1 is 1, x1 here is 1, m2 2, this is x1 y1, this is x2 y2 कोऑर्डिनेट है, ये समझ लो आप। x2 is -1 divided by 1 plus 2, this is 1 minus 2 divided by 3, तो -1/3 आ गया ये। Similarly for y coordinates, m1 y1, m2 y2 divided by m1 plus m2. Put the values and get the answer. m1 is 1, y1 is 2, plus m2 is 2 and y2 that is 3 divided by m1 plus m2. 2 plus 6, 8 divided by 2 divided by 3, sorry. So this is the coordinate of y, 8/3. So coordinates of center of mass, so coordinates of center of mass is -1/3, 8/3. This is the answer. It's again a 1 mark question. Is that clear? So write down. Now, so this is all about today's module. In our next module, dear children, we have to see another part of this chapter, that is moment of inertia. Is that clear? Okay, bye.